Uh,
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? Good
yes,
evening.
you are very much audible, Diksha.
Hello, sir.
Um, hello. So you are in Indore or you are in Delhi?
I'm in Delhi right now, sir.
You are in Delhi. Where in Delhi?
Patel Nagar.
Patel Nagar. Why you selected Patel Nagar? Why not Karol Bagh?
So it was very crowded. I used to live there, but I preferred this area. It is much more quieter.
It's quieter. Patel Nagar is quieter
Yes,
comparatively.
yes.
Okay, good, good, good. And when is your interview?
19th January, sir.
19th January. Okay, great. Good. So, Diksha, you came from Indore. Of course, you studied in Miranda House for history. But Indore to Delhi, what struck you?
And sir, the academic excellence and the legacy of Delhi University attracted me. And I always felt that after my college, I wanted to pursue civil services. So I
Mhm.
think that attracted me more towards Delhi, and
Okay,
which is why I joined Miranda House.
okay, okay. So, see, Indore is always getting the prize for to be the cleanest city, despite the fact it's a hub for ready-made garments, particularly for children, right? But
Yes, sir.
Delhi is not able to follow that into that footsteps. In your view, 3 points. What could be the reasons?
The primary reason I think is civic sense. In
Mm-hmm.
Indore, the civic sense is quite developed because Swachhta Abhiyan actually led a Andolan in Indore. So I think the civic sense is very strong, and if the people in Indore are taking Swachhta not just as a activity but as a matter of pride.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I think the 100% door-to-door collection is being done in Delhi as well. However, the efficiency is not so much as it is seen in Indore, because in
Mm-hmm.
Indore, the whole supply chain of the garbage from collection to processing, it is very streamlined using GPS tracking. And
Mm-hmm.
thirdly, I think using zero waste model. Delhi is not utilizing its waste to effectively make energy or utilize its energy in CNG, but Indore is utilizing its waste to make bio CNG, which is further used to fuel its buses as well. So that zero
Mm-hmm.
waste model has not been implemented in Delhi as well.
So is it a fault of the people or the government?
So I think it's both.
Mm-hmm.
With my personal experience, I have seen that cleanliness is not a matter of sanitation; it is also a matter of governance. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it is both the civic sense and the governance that
Mm-hmm.
leads to a very clean city.
You also, you are interested, you perform Kathak and you have been able to Khajuraho dance festival, right? So you must be quite good. So which gharana you follow in Kathak?
So mostly Lucknow Gharana. Although I've learned across the Gharanas, but we mostly follow Lucknow Gharana.
So what is the difference between this and different gharana? How you say you're from Lucknow or from some other gharana? What is the
Uh,
differences?
Sir, I think the core Kathak, the rules of core technicalities of Kathak is same across all the Gharanas, but there is
Hmm.
only slight difference. Lucknow Gharana focuses more on Abhinay and expression, whereas Jaipur Gharana focuses more on footwork and chakkars, whereas Banaras Gharana has much more focus on the Gadbhav related to Krishna and Radha. So the
Hmm.
variety and the intensity of focus changes in the Gharanas, yet the core concept of Kathak remains the same.
Hmm. They say that, you're a history student. Of course, you studied very well. You know much better than me. They say that the history of Rajasthan has been written with a great bias. Is it true?
So, as far as I know, history of Rajasthan, it was mostly biased during the colonial time because during that era, it was written with the perspective of colonial historians like James Todd. However, I think right now we have changed this perception and we have given enough voice to the subaltern aspect of history in Rajasthan as well. For example, we are trying to analyze the oral historical accounts of Rajput bards. So I think that democratization of history has happened right now, and it is not so much biased.
So history, I thought, is factual. What you are telling me that people change history, and you are using the word democratization of history. That means we have 10 views, we incorporate everybody's view into so that it become more democratized. Is it the way of writing history?
Sir, I believe that history is a mixture of objectivity and subjectivity. It is a subject that will have certain facts and events that has happened for sure, that will not change. However, the perspectives with which we see those events, that keeps changing. So we have to appreciate that element of subjectivity in history, and I think that is the beauty of the subject.
Or is it a beauty because 100 year down the line or 200 years down the line, what we will read is the biased account. How will we know that really these events really happened in the manner this is being described?
Sir,
So
I
how,
think
what is the advantage of learning history?
so coming first to the question uh, of the concern of biasness, I think history writing is an art as well as a science. So we must focus on making sure that we do history writing in a very objective and scientific way. And as far as advantages of history learning is concerned, I think knowing our past helps us in making our present more efficient and helps in present planning as well as helps in planning our future as well. So history
Mhm.
is a subject that tells us how we evolved, how our culture evolved, and how humanity as a whole came
Mhm.
from the past to the present. And I think that is very important, especially for public servants, to understand the
Mhm.
sensitivity of the area in which they are working.
But if as a public servant, you are getting a biased account. I'm continuing with the argument of bias. Then how he can be objective? Because he is not learning what has really happened. So how you will be able to use that in administration?
Sir, I think as far as the NCRTs and the model books are concerned, they are not biased.
How
And
you can
as
say they
well,
are not biased? How you can say they are not biased? Because it's a human tendency to be biased.
sir, human tendency is being overcome by using technical and systematic syllabus, and that objectivity is being inculcated in history writing. So you have to be very scientific in history writing, and that is being
Okay.
inculcated. And
Okay.
as far as biasness is concerned, there can be instances of biasness. However, it is up to historical consciousness of each
Right.
person. I think we have to
Right.
make them more capable in
Okay.
understanding
Okay.
history.
Right. Thank you very much, Diksha. Nice talking to you. Now, my co-panelist, Dr. Mishra, will talk
Can
to
I
you.
make a request? I have a visitor. Can I take questions first, Dr.
Yeah.
Mishra?
Please,
Okay.
please,
Okay.
please do
Thank you.
that.
Thank you. Diksha, you have a very interesting dance. So you performed at Khajuraho festival also.
Yes.
So what did you feel at that moment when the performance was over?
Some multiple things. Firstly, I did feel a little bit nervous getting on to such a big stage. However, when the performance was over, the voices of acknowledgement, appreciation, as well as looking at multiple dancing along with me, I felt very content at that point. And I feel that such performances not only gives a lot of lifetime experiences but also a lot of knowledge about your own culture. And one thing I also felt was that dancing with other dancers, they were performing Kathakali, Odissi, Manipuri. So I also felt that the unity and diversity of this nation is very well reflected in our classical dances.
Okay. So remember this when you go for the final day.
Sorry, sir, you were not audible.
Remember this when you go for the final day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you paint devotional themes. Which
Yes.
school?
No schools as such, sir. I paint devotional themes according to my own consciousness and my own cultural expression.
But are you aware of the different schools? Krishna, Kangra,
Yes, sir. The miniature art, those paintings.
Rajasthani. Yes.
Yes, sir. There are multiple devotional themes in which the folk artists have also painted a lot on devotional themes, uh,
Mhm.
where and miniature paintings, especially the Rajput and Mughal paintings.
Right. Suppose I ask you to paint the classical rags. How will you do that? Just give me two, three examples. The rag and the painting you will draw.
So to express classical dance form,
No,
I
rag,
will
rag, rag, not dance form.
classical
Song,
rag.
rag, rag, raga. अंग्रेजी में लेकिन राग.
Okay. So I will make a collage, and
Yes.
in that collage, I will incorporate elements like musical instruments, pakhavaj, tabla, and with that, I will draw and sketch certain dance artists dancing on those notes. And I will also try to incorporate nature, like the singing of the bird. They also follow a certain type of raga. So that can also be incorporated in such painting that showcases the natural raga of our nation.
Okay. What are the classical rags? Can you name a few? Rag Bhairavi, Rag Deepak.
Yes. So I do not have exact knowledge on that.
Okay. That was my question. Somebody's done it, and those paintings are in Alvar State Museum.
Okay, sir.
Since you are fond of them, I mean, you practice devotional themes, have a look. So, which part of history you like best in India or the world? Ancient, modern, medieval?
So ancient India.
Ancient India. Okay. So, why were we called Sone ki Chadiya in ancient India?
Uh, so India at one time had been contributing to more than 25% of the GDP of the whole world before the Britishers came. And since ancient era, the Indian subcontinent was not just not materially rich, but also culturally rich. So this attracted a lot of invaders as well because of the gold and the wealth that India had.
Who was the most horrible and, I mean, cruel invader in the medieval times to India?
Sir, I think I'll say Bhaktiar Khalji because he not just invaded, but he actually demolished our cultural heritage and educational heritage like Nalanda. So I think that is a cultural loss that has no value that we can
No, no,
put.
nobody can replace that. Very good.
Yes.
One more person, who sat in Chandni Chowk area, the sword out of his scabbard.
So is it Nadir Shah?
Absolutely. You took away your peacock throne. Thank
Yes.
you, Diksha. Over to Dr. Mishra.
Diksha, who was Miranda?
So Miranda was actually the daughter of Mr. Maurice Goyer, and he named Miranda based on the fact that he liked the Shakespeare's play Tempest, and in that play, Miranda was a character which portrayed an innocent girl who was bold and courageous. So Mr. Maurice Goyer was very inspired by that character, and he named his daughter upon that character.
Can you name 5, 6 famous alumni of Miranda House?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the field of literature, we have Miss Anita Desai, who is a very famous literature artist. In the field of art,
Why Anita Desai and her daughter, they were in news recently also.
sir, I do not have much knowledge on this.
One of the book written by both of them is a favorite book of Barack Obama, that he has
Yes.
listed some books. So one of them was by Kiran Desai. Yes. Next.
Yes, sir. So apart from that, from the field of art and culture, we have Shobna Narayan, also a Kathak dancer. And from the field of Bollywood as well, we have many artists like Malika Sharawat. And apart from that, we also had many politicians coming from Miranda House, including Sheila Dikshit.
There was a controversy on a Bollywood film which depicted Miranda also.
Yes.
And it was protested by the college. What is that film? She was also an alumni of Miranda only.
So was it Kabir Singh? It was also recorded in Miranda.
You read more about it. Now, do you think there has been a historical bias in projecting some of the unsung heroes of freedom movement, at least at the subaltern level? They didn't get that space, and that was because of an ideological bias of historians, which is now getting some space. Do you think?
Yes, sir, indeed, I agree with this, because the mainstream history was elitist in nature, and it focused majorly on the nationalistic movements and stalwarts who were involved in that. However, the subaltern personalities like tribal leaders, Tatya Bhil, and further peasant movements and local regional leaders, they were not recognized and they were relegated to the footnotes of history. But that notion is being changed right now, especially with the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We are celebrating those unsung heroes of history, and we are also getting to know more about them. So I think it's a positive trend that we are witnessing right now.
What is the difference between the written history and oral history? And what are the theoretical, constants or implications of an oral history?
So coming to the difference, oral history is passed from generation to generation through the words and stories, whereas written history is recorded in terms of text. Oral history has a lot of scope of interpolation, whereas written history, it's rather more difficult to edit and to interpolate it. As far as oral history is concerned, the major advantages and disadvantages, as far as they are concerned, oral history portrays the cultural background of any community. For example, the Rajput community, they have mostly followed the oral history form of history writing. So it records the personal experience of people, and that showcases the subaltern history of our era. So for that, I think oral history is very important to experience those personal accounts, whereas written history might not incorporate those personal experiences.
Any famous subaltern historian?
Yes, sir. Ranajit Guha is known as the father of subaltern historian. Other subaltern historians are also there, like Gajendra Singh, and also um, Ramchandra Guha also write on many subaltern themes.
Where were 4 Buddhist councils held? This is my last question to you.
Sir, first Rajgriha in Bihar. The second one is Vaishali. The third is Patliputra, and fourth was in Kashmir.
Okay. Thank you, DEEKSHA. Thank you. All the best.
Diksha, you have opted for Madhya Pradesh as your home cadre for IAS, but not for IPS. Why?
Sir, in MP, the commissionerate system is only present in Indore and Bhopal, and that is also evolving as of now. So I preferred states with commissionerate system.
Okay. So how is it different with the other system? Why you prefer commissionerate system? Is it because of the
Sir,
power or anything else?
So power, but not only power, the governance is more streamlined, and you're not only given more powers, but in the commissionerate system, you are comparatively given more authority to take certain decisions and have much more say in the way things work. In my limited knowledge, sir.
Okay, Diksha, you perform Kathak. Tell me what you learn from classical dance beyond the art, classical arts.
Um, So, firstly, I realized the importance of hard work and discipline. My guru, Dr. Ashish Pillai sir, he always used to say that riyaz and prayas behind the stage always helps you on the stage. So I think that hard work and practice, that is something that I learned. Secondly, I also learned emotional maturity and intelligence from classical dance, because as a dancer you have to go into the shoes of the character, feel the emotion and express them. So that increases that personally increased my empathy and compassion. So these two things.
Okay, Disha, your paintings focus on devotional themes, right? So how do you see the role of spirituality in public life?
Sir, I think I relate a lot with Swami Vivekananda's teaching of seva is worship. So for me, serving the public is a way of expressing my spirituality as well as attaining my spiritual liberation. So when I serve the public, I'm also serving the God, as everyone has some element of God in them. So for me, public service is not just a job, it is also a medium wherein I can attain the higher meaning in life.
What do you think the indoor model, is it replicable? The cleanliness, is it replicable to the other cities also?
Definitely, sir. I think it can be very well replicated, and it has actually become a case study in the Swachhata Abhiyan. And whereas the material, the technology, the funding that is present in all the states and cities, what we can definitely replicate in other cities as well is the behavioral change modules that Indore adopted. The proactive leadership of Indore Municipal Corporation ensured that the behavioral change campaigns, be it in painting of mural art on the public walls, or be it holding inter-ward competitions for Swachhata, these are small things that actually had a lot of impact on the psyche of people regarding cleanliness. So I think this Jan Andolan is required in every city.
Okay, what do you think? How should colonial history to be taught so that you can avoid the ideological polarization?
So colonial history should not be disbanded; it should be acknowledged, because it shows the perspectives of outsiders. However, it should be complemented with nationalist and subaltern historiography. While students are taught the colonial history, they should be given cautious. They should be also be taught that such history was coming from a very small, narrow perspective and biasness. So people have to be made more aware to realize who is writing history. So I think that is important.
Okay, my last question. Diksha, do you think that history sometimes become obstructive for nation building?
So I think if history is considered as a static subject that is unchanging, And if it is interpreted in a biased way, it can be obstructive. However, in the case of India, history has not been obstructive, rather, it has been facilitative towards our goal of Viksit Bharat. History is being leveraged to increase our cultural awareness, to increase our, to make our planning more effective. For example, Project Udbhav, wherein we are learning from our past military strategies. So I think
Or is it the historical narratives are becoming politicized?
so. There are instances wherein politicization is happening. However, these are rare exceptions in the whole journey. So we should not be focusing on them. Rather, we should follow the norm, which is recognizing the effectiveness of history.
Thank you, Diksha.
Diksha, now I think the formal part is over. Now we come to the discussion, right? You said your interview is on 19th January, which is about 3 to 4 weeks away. And you must have taken some mocks so far? Few, no?
Yes.
Okay. What was the advice given by them? Okay, let's start with them because I like to understand that first.
So first was to brush up my knowledge, especially regarding my hobbies, because it is quite prominent in my DAF. And second was regarding making my points more crisper and telling the main point first and then the rest of them as a secondary part. Also, about the posture, you have to be more eased out, and I feel that sometimes I restrict myself a lot. So these were the major points.
And today, how you feel that you have performed based on your experience so far?
So sometimes I think I become repetitive.
Okay.
That is something that I need to work upon. And I make sure that my points are diversive and not just, focusing on one point.
Okay. Well, Diksha, what I felt is you are a very good candidate. You have worked well. Your information, so for what we asked, we checked, you are quite good in your information. Only thing is, what I would say, if you can shorten your answer a bit, because my expectation from you is much higher, because you are good, your base is quite good. So it don't take it negative, because as I said, you are a very good candidate, but I would like you to be in the 200 plus category. Right? So for that, obviously one has to make effort.
Yes.
Right? Extra effort, which is not, normally expected. So what you require is that, sometime you are fixated on your ideas. And because you come out with the definitive positions. History is a very subjective thing, We say it's subjective, this, that is not possible. It is not, as proven. We are rewriting history every day. We are talking about rewriting history. That there are biases, there's a communist biases, there's a Marxist biases. So, so don't put yourself in a corner by trying to defend as a historian, because otherwise you will get in the corner and then you will very difficult to wiggle out. In any case, when you are giving interview, always keep a middle position so you are not caught.
Yes.
You can deviate according to the requirement. So you have to be, as an officer, of course there are certain principles which you cannot compromise, but otherwise you are flexible according to the requirement, because there are certain core principles which you cannot compromise. But if you are not very adamant in your views, then you cannot function as an administrator. So that is also a quality which the board will be looking into you, because they are now examining your personality to be an officer. So start thinking from that perspective.
Yes.
And which will be reflected in your answers, because they are not going to see you on the ground. They're going to see what is your personality, how you are taking the criticism, how you are whether you are fixated in your ideas, This will come out with your answers only,
Yes.
right? So keep that in mind. Secondly, I hope you're reading newspaper. We didn't talk about the current affairs or anything. Two newspapers you should read. One, economic out of them, daily till 19th January at least.
Okay.
So just keep, in my view, otherwise you're quite good. Keep the confidence. And of course, once in a while you can smile also. You don't have to be so studious. Okay.
Yes.
So that helps. That helps because it breaks the ice. It breaks the ice.
Yes.
Otherwise, one personal advice, if I can give you, this, of course, now it is a fashion to have big glasses on your face.
No, sir, I'll not wear this. I'll wear
Okay.
contact lenses.
Okay, because the big glasses, your face hide behind, so your expressions are not visible, and the other side, all are 60 plus,
Yes.
so their eyesight is also compromised.
Definitely.
Okay, so okay,
Yeah.
all the best, all the best.
Thank you,
Diksha.
sir.
Diksha, you should just refresh your current affairs. As
Yes.
far as history is concerned, you are good. You have to avoid extreme positions, as was rightly said by the chairman. Recently there was a excavation in South India, where the whole narrative of ancient India has been changed.
Yes.
You should know that Kirari or some place which
Yes,
given.
sir.
So every day new excavations take place, and they add new dimension to the existing historical knowledge. So, and extreme positions are always, you are not there to settle and score with the board.
Yes.
You're not going to trying to either prove them wrong or you prove yourself that this is what I'm saying is correct. So you take the middle path, be factual. Your explanation about the existing bias towards the historical figures and all, that is very true. That is why they're getting space in the public domain, and there is an attempt to, in fact, highlight them also. There are many more. Okay.
Yes.
And you have a very interesting, in fact, profile in the sense of a dancer. So you could expect a lot of questions on that also. Okay.
Yes.
You have fair chance of making. So be confident and all the best. Hope to see you in the list.
Thank you so much, sir.
So Diksha,
Yes.
got a very detailed and good feedback. Please hear it again in the video recording. I have only one thing to add as a caution. So think like an officer. Never try to give even a slightest hint of being politically correct. It doesn't matter. You will be sworn to the Constitution, nothing else.
Yes.
If you start thinking like an officer, you'll start talking like an officer. Think that you're already there, you're going in for a conversation. Good luck. See you there.
Thank you, sir.
All the best, Diksha. You already got a
Thanks.
detailed feedback. All the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
You can log out.